Alright, guys, it's time for the KSL Week 70 Grand Finals. Hero in the bottom left side, Dark in the top left. Are you guys feeling deja vu? If you've watched a lot of my KSL videos, you might. Because I tend to tune in, see, oh, what happened in the semis and the finals, any good series to cast. And I feel like every single time I cast a KSL, a Korean StarCraft League, it's Dark versus Hero in the finals. And to be fair, pretty regularly barn burners, right? Pretty regularly crazy games that come out. Dark, obviously, being a bit of a mad lad. Hero seems to have his number more often than not over the last 3 years. And despite that, he hates playing against him because Dark is just so hard to pin down and figure out what he's doing. We'll see what the players bring out here. Hero, of course, I think has the late game prowess if it gets there. It's unlikely to get there. I think the scary thing is that Hero's early game is better. And I've talked about this for a few years, and you might wonder, well, you know, Pig, when are you going to pick a new storyline? You got to realize there's this crazy thing that happens as a StarCraft commentator who also has played a lot of the game, watched a lot of the game. I try to tell the story that's in front of me, and sometimes it's not the best story, but I can't lie to you guys. Dark randomly will have a week where he doesn't get supply blocked for a few games, and he'll dominate everybody. And then he'll go back to just getting supply blocked the next week and having sloppy openings, and he'll be able to beat every Protoss player that's not Hero or Max Packs. But the Heroes and the Max Packs is usually, they're still going to drop maps to him, even when Dark's playing sloppy build orders and getting supply blocked. But he usually can't win a best of 3 or a best of 5. So that's a big part of what I look for in these games is how tight is Dark's opening. That Overlord, right on time on 26, perfectly timed. So far, very good in that regard. But he didn't really counter micro at all in the main, so you're going to notice he has 3 workers stacked on a far patch and only 1 worker on this patch. Very sloppy control for Dark, and he hasn't noticed it. He doesn't pay attention to that stuff. Those little details are something he just doesn't really pay attention to. And that means his mining in his main, these miners, like basically one of these guys is working at half efficiency, and there's a mineral patch that's only being utilized to its half full potential. Is that huge, losing 1/16 of mining in your main? It's not the end of the world, but it does add up. Now, of course, we do see a big boost in the minerals for Dark, and that's because he's got 8 workers on his natural already. Standard for this matchup. Double gas, of course, already mining for the Protoss player. Stargate's coming in, Adept's going to poke around. Now, we don't really ever see double chronoed Adept pressure anymore, do we? It's just fallen out of favor. Very rare do we see that. I do think it's kind of nice to mix in there. This Overlord popped a little bit late as well for Dark. Not massively late. He's rushing his 4th queen. Okay, he's delaying a lot of drones to build this 4th queen. This 4th queen is wildly early. Yeah. A little sloppy for Dark. I do think you want to start that queen about 320. I mean, the upside of this is if he does go 4 queens this early, he doesn't need to build a Spore Crawler in the main. And that's especially good because he's playing against Void Ray. He's going to find out in a moment. Okay, this is good. So check this out. So he sees this. He goes, okay, I lose an Overlord. Immediately pulls back these Overlords to safety. You can see he's clicking them all to the back here to try and hide. And he's just going to go drone, build a few more queens, and that should give him a really decent setup. Having 4 queens already, he's building spores. Something I disagree with building spores this early if you've already cut economy to build this many queens, because notice he's got a lot of lava. And we know that Oracle's going to be delayed. Like, yes, it's going to be arriving soon, but I think if you've already got 6 queens coming, which he's going for, you could cover it without those spores. That being said, he wants to rally to his 3rd earlier. A lot of players would hold off rallying to the 3rd in this situation, overstack the natural until they're safe. Oh, and he's going to get punished for being greedy there. Whoa, great Spore and Extractor tricks, though. Does still lose 2 workers. Despite it, though, all of his units pulled out of position. 3rd drone goes down. And Dark, a little too sloppy on his opening. He's committed to 2 spores, 6 queens. Despite that, unable to deflect the Oracle. And the Stasis Trap comes in as well. It's these little edges that Hero's so dynamic with his opening pressure. So good at getting these bits of damage. And that's going to put him in the lead. 3rd Nexus on the way at a nice timing. Twilight Council is there along with a Forge. Both up very early, just past 4 minutes. We'll see. It looks like just a quick blink build to me, but it could be charge as well. And there we go. It is charge. +1, normally the bigger priority of the tech. He was just slightly shy on the gas, and he's going to chrono both of those. Void Ray Oracle comes in. Oracle gets the Creep Tumor. Void Ray already backed off from the Queen there. Evo Chamber Roach Horn for Dark. Now, Dark is up 10 workers, so I don't think Hero's been perfect on his worker production either. We'll see what he brings out. Here is the Adept Shade forward. 7 Adepts coming forward. 8 Zerglings on the field. Hero finding Dark with no units out right now. He's going to need to build more Zerglings. 6 of them are starting. And, oh, Queens are in a good position to deal with some, but 2 of the Adepts cancel the shade. The other 5 continue towards the third base. Third base vulnerable. 1 drone gets left behind. Losing 1 drone, not too bad. But remember, this is just 5 Adepts. This is not Glaives or anything like that. The Evo Chamber, though, is brilliant. That will hold back those Adepts. Oracle's trying to dive in the natural. Nice move with the Adepts, but look at that. Lings try to wrap around. They don't quite get the surround. The Adepts slipping away to the safety of the Oracles. Beautiful control for Hero. Hero with a fantastic start in this series. He's going to potentially shade in there as well. He's going to go for a bit of a wild choice. The drone drill, really good drone drill for Dark. The Zerglings had some surface area, but notice the drones got even more. And now the drones should probably be pulling away. These Adepts so low. They get 1 more drone, but it looks like the Lings will finally be able to clean up that last Adept. At the end of the day, units lost tab in favor of Hero. Hero up 5 workers as well. As he goes to charge +1 and Zealots, there's no Roaches building. I think we're going to need to see these Zealots as Dark. He needs to start building Roaches right now. And there we go, he sees it. He sees them, and you can immediately be seeing Roaches when he gets some more lava. There we go, first Roaches starting up. Oracle's gunning down so many of these units on the way home. Dude, Hero. This is exactly the sort of game he likes. Look at what he's picked off. 13 drones, 26 Zerglings, an Overlord. He's kept it messy. He's kept Dark on the back foot. Dark struggling to deal with this. 7 Roaches coming in, but that is a lot of Zealots. Queen Wedge, not bad, but he needs those Roaches as well. You can't defend with just Queens. Nice positioning on the ramp, though. Transfusers. Does get some good transfusers down. He's pulling back a little bit further. Stasis traps trying to be added on top of this. 1 Oracle very vulnerable there. Queen transfuse is excellent. And these Roaches and Queens should be able to deflect this attack now. 1 Roach sets off the Stasis Trap. Another one's going to go down. Does get focused, actually. Very well done. And dude, the +1 Zealots are getting through. Oh my god, I can't believe they broke through that. Dude, the plug of Queens, not enough to hold on. The last Queen goes down, and this is just too much damage to be comfortable with. If these Zealots shift-click on the drones, he splits 2 of them around, shift-clicks the drones a little bit. I feel like he can get 5, 6 more workers. Oracle's killing the Roaches. They're rallying over. A few of those go down as well. And this is just far too much damage. Hero all over him while he goes to blink Immortal behind it. Too much damage. Dark just not able to handle it because of the early game. And I do think that came down to him not building enough drones at the very initial stage. Going for that 4th Queen so early, but then still going for the quick spores afterwards and taking damage on top of that. And I think Dark would have been better off either being a bit greedier and just on his anti-air, taking longer to transfer to his 3rd, or if he was safer, just being a little bit tighter and not losing any drones to the first Oracle. Stalker's going to be able to defend this quite easily with the Oracle energy recharge, the Roaches dying to the Immortal and the Void Ray as well. It is a bit of a cursed counterattack. Dark's going to get taken down here, and Hero's early game's too dynamic and too good. The thing about Hero is that he throws so many moves at you. Dark often can get away with one sloppy mistake in one moment, but then in the next moment, he comes back and catches you off guard with something. Feels like Hero, when do you counterattack Hero? When does Dark get in the driver's seat? When does he get to do anything to Hero and really make those weird situations happen that he excels at? And the answer is never. Hero's not going to give you a chance to take control of this game. You have to defend well enough to be able to take control from the 6-minute mark onwards. And I think that's just not matching Dark's style right now, and that's why Hero's finding so much success against him with this sort of early game. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dark makes crazy comebacks, but I feel like Dark 6 months, a year ago, 2 years ago, he made a lot more crazy comebacks than he does right now. In ZvP especially, the crazy comeback era of Dark seems to have disappeared. The Protoss players seem much more methodical at knowing how to just methodically finish it out. They don't just kind of headbutt with Blink Stalker Zealot all-ins anymore. Like, he was the king of coming back versus Gateway Man, right? The Gateway Man Protoss players would just hammer at him, never transition. But now we have guys who get aggressive with Zealots, get aggressive with Blink, and then they transition into Storm and 4th bases and cannons and batteries going up everywhere. Interestingly, his natural, I feel like, is actually the weakest point, but he still has a cannon there. Cannon in the main as well. He's prepared for leaving his door open. Those cannons providing a bit of insurance as a fleet beacon does go down. Hero may be down in supply, but you have to look at the tech and realize that as a Roach Hydra Zerg at this stage, you'd be wanting to be up maxed out at this point. And even then, I'd say you're losing if you're maxed out right now as Dark. Unless you can overwhelm him right now and at least deny the 4th, preferably kill a lot of the army. If you're fighting with similar supply with Roach Hydra against Storm Immortal, it has gone terribly awry. Hydras do snag 1 Oracle. Very nicely done. Hydra's going to break the rock tower. That's interesting. I think he just wants to clear these rocks before the fight starts. But Dark is giving him even more time to prepare. Remember, energy recharge is available, so he can also just warp in more High Templars for Storms whenever he wants. But 3 High Templar, 5 Storms between them. Hero feels like that's enough for now. The natural is open. Roach Hydra could try to run up. Immortals and Tempest being chrono boosted right now. Stalker's blinking away. Interestingly, there's only 10 Stalkers on this map. The natural, he's going to warp in Zealots there. A bunch of Immortal. Stalker runs to the right side, and the left side is actually where he's a bit undefended. Oh, the Roach Hydra on the ramp getting stormed, man. Getting absolutely smashed by Storm and Immortals popping out. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, it looks like Storm, Energy Recharge plus Zealot warp-ins will clean up the left as well, despite him only having a token force to defend. Cleans up Dark's army. We're going to call it like it is. Dark got absolutely smashed in the opening. And that's going to be a position. It's very hard to deal with the Protoss early game. All right, guys. Dark in the top right gets a hatch first down. You know what's crazy? He actually sent his drone out front the hatchery this time. So actually preparing to be blocked, which he often doesn't do. I love that adjustment after game 1. And guys, we did do a post-game analysis, quite deep into it. I'm going to cut that out of the YouTube edit. So just to update you guys, I was wrong about the Queen starting that early. Because of the supply block timing, it barely slowed down his next 4 drones between 36 and 40 supply. It was like a 2-3 second delay at most on 2 of those drones. Really didn't matter. It was really just about the fact that he went heavy anti-air defense, 6 Queen, 2 Spore, and still lost 3 drones because he transferred to his 3rd too early. Like I said, you really need to only transfer drones to your 3rd when you've got a pair of Queens escorting the transfer. So you'll see Serral, you'll see the top guys, stack them on the natural. They get to 20, 22 even sometimes. Say they get to 22 out of 16. They grab 6 workers, click them on the 3rd at the same time as the Queens are moving over. So they're literally escorted to the 3rd base, then a Spore goes down, or they leave Queens there. And it's just, it's a much more methodical way of doing it. He took a bit of damage there unnecessarily, and then of course, because he was on the back foot from that, he was a little too slow to spot those Adepts coming forward. And that's where the damage really stacked up. So, you know, the early 36 supply block was perfectly fine. It was like basically the optimal supply block. Normally you go 32 supply on drones, and then you maybe go hatchery. You might go one drone after the hatchery, so maybe back up to 32 supply after building the hatchery. You build a Queen, takes you to 34. You build an Overlord, build 2 more drones. You're a little supply blocked, and then you build more drones and a Queen after that 36 supply block pops out. Very standard stuff. So Dark actually did way better than I gave him credit for. I'll reel that one back. I was like, dude, oh, this doesn't look clean. What's happening? You know, I was a bit overly critical there. I apologize for that one. So here you can see 3rd Queen. He should start an Overlord at 100 minerals. Let's see if he does it while distracted by the Adept. Perfect timing. He's gotten much better at remembering this Overlord. It's really good. I do still think, though, because there's not a lot of double Adept pressure, it's easier to do these openings right now, whereas when there's double Adept shading into your base at this moment, it's a bit easier to get distracted and forget. Now, he does build a 2nd Overlord this time. A little early for that. That's not optimal. Yeah, this time... Oh, man. Okay. And now he's building 4 more Zerglings, despite there only being 1 Adept. Oh, okay. This time he's actually screwed up the build. That's so funny. I talked about it so much last game because now these 4 drones are actually very delayed this time. They're very delayed this time. I'm like, oh no, Dark. You actually did way better on it in the previous game. It's all right. I'm sure he'll shut down the Adepts this time. If you can always make little de-optimizations like this as long as you slap down whatever happens next, right? If he doesn't take damage to the Void Ray Oracle, it'll be fine. The Void Ray actually flies right past. Overlord's just sitting at the front. He doesn't show the Void Ray. Oh, Hero, you dirty boy. He knew that if he shows the Void Ray, these Overlords have time to run away. So instead, he goes across the map, gets an Overlord, and then runs home. If he went to the right, he would have found this one as well. But he's like, let's just be conservative. Let's just kill that, come back, kill this one, and then at least hide what my follow-up tech is. Overall, though, still getting a double Overlord snipe really good. Dark's going to be building Overlords. He's also building 2 Spores. And you can see his drone count's really weak right now. 36 workers, 9 lava. It's a very bad opening. Dark has to go all in from this because his drones are going to be popping out so late. Keeping up in an economy build is just not going to work. He's going to drop a 2nd gas and go for a Nidus Queen Link. Or he's going to start Overlord speed and do just a creep highway or a creep drop is the other way of doing it. So keep an eye. When he has 100 gas, if he goes Overlord speed, we know he's doing that. But he has to all in because his opening sucked. I don't know if he was planning to do this or not. If he was planning to do it, then, hey, it's all fine. Having a de-optimized start doesn't matter too much. Building your army late, not as big of a problem. Building drones late, every second they're not building, means you are not building army. The problem is he uses this build a lot. Hero should be able to scout the lack of drones on this 3rd. Sees quite a few drones there, though. Oh, he sees the 2nd gas is not mining. Doesn't see the lair. Did he see the lair on the natural? He did not. He did not see the lair, guys. Uh-oh. Stasis Trap's being annoying. It is in the natural. Hero, I don't think he realizes what's happening here. Oracle Void Ray coming in. He's making Blink. He's making a third and fourth gateway. He has no idea. He needs batteries. He needs cannons. He needs defense right now. And the Nidus Worm does go down. It's the classic Chad Ray Annihilator. The joy of how Dark does this build, guys, is he hits with his Nidus Worm so incredibly late that it just seems like it's a normal build at this point. Unless they get in above the natural. The Queens need to push these Oracles away. And nice revelation. He sees the lair is finished. That's a pretty early lair, 5.5 minutes. Do we see a reaction? No batteries, no cannons. He's going to 6 gateways, this hero. 1 battery goes down in the third. Does not seem to be respecting this. He's had such a better start that he still might be able to defend it even without realizing it's coming. This really is like the perfect distractions. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think now you've got to realize what's happening. Hero just did crazy damage, but he also saw no gases on the third. Not that many drones. There's a lot of Queens and Zerglings coming. Still no cannon battery. I don't think Hero realizes he's building 2 pylons just because he's supply blocked. He's building a robo. He has no idea. He only realizes at this moment he should full wall this base. I really do believe he should full wall that base, but the Nidus Worm going to block him from full walling. Blink's not quite ready. Massive Lings around at the third. Huge moment here for Dark. If Dark could move some Lings around the gas as well, it'd be so much better. His Zerglings are all kind of stuck behind each other. Dark not really microing his Lings right now. He's going to get inside the Nidus Worm and then pop out on the other side of the wall. No, he's going to pop the Queens out on the other side of the wall and the Zerglings as well. Another Nidus Worm going up in the natural. The Stalkers blinking across the wall to defend. More Lings flooding into that third base right now, guys. In the bottom right side of our screen, you can see every probe goes down on the third base, as does the cannon and battery. The Queen's taking out the shield battery here. No transfuse on that Queen. Got to be a bit quicker on those transfuses. They do have the energy for it. And oh my lord, Lings popping out onto the Stalkers, which is of course perfect for Dark. Hero not realizing that he was being all in, and this is the joy of this build. Like I said, it is so late. On paper, if you told me you're doing a Nidus Worm Queen Ling attack as late as Dark hits with this, I'd say it's garbage. But then you look at how well he convinces Hero it is a completely normal game, and he does this against every Protoss player all the time. He uses this build over and over again, and you have to give this build respect for how well it tells a story. The timing's bad. You know, on paper, if you're just looking at the most efficient way of getting someone, it's bad. But that's where trickery trumps efficiency a lot of the time in StarCraft. And Dark's a master of understanding that. He's going to go double Evo Mass Ling into Hive. He wants to play Ultralisks. So we will see that Hive start up in a moment. It's going to be 47 drone Hive, guys. Off 2 gas. 3 gas. No, just 2. He's taking a 4th and 5th base. His transition is super gimmicky, but I kind of love it. Mass Stalker will get wrecked by +1 melee Mass Zergling, I guess. Thing is, he can't drone too hard. Seeing no third base, you know Hero might just try to kill you with Stalkers now. Hero's worker count so low. Only 41 workers, man. Alright, he's going to go first round on the Stalkers, potentially. Good guy Dark finishing Hero's wall for him with the Nidus before. That's actually funny. That's actually really funny. Stalker's going to push. Dude, is this all in? Hero's going +1 armor, Blink Stalker all in. He's got an Oracle. Lings are going to counterattack. He'll try to warp in Stalkers. The Lings are ready. Oh, he blinks forward. Oh, Hero immediately runs back to the safety of the wall. Luckily for him, Dark was not looking. No Zealots here. There are Stasis Traps behind. We'll see how well they do. He's trying to build 2 pylons on the front. And of course, more Stalkers warping in at home. Going to try to deal with these Zerglings. I love the positioning for Dark right now. He's putting a few Roaches, +1 melee, +1 range as well. He just wants a few Ravagers, guys. Biles on the Stasis Traps, as well as just the range damage and Biles of those Ravagers can do really quite well. Good fight here for Dark, I would say. Even though he's losing a few Lings, he pulls the whole army back, and that should allow him to clean up the middle. He's not going to go for it, though. Maybe thought that was only part of the army. The Ravagerling building off 57 drones. Hero completely all in. He needs gigantic Stasis Traps to make this work. Stalker Sentry coming forward. Ling Roach Ravager trying to deal with it. Dark, he's way up in supply right now. The Queen Roach Ravager Zergling going to be engaging, and the Ling's not finding a good angle. I feel like we should be surrounding this force as Dark, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Dude, if Hero brings this back on 2 base at 10 minutes with a Blink all-in with 1/1 upgrades, that would be a wild timeline. But the Lings really can't do anything into this angle. All they can do is tank. He's going to try to come in from behind. Those stasis traps are ready, though. Oh, there's a lot of stasis traps. First one lands, really limiting the surface area. Biles trying to land across these Stalkers. Good blink at the last second. Only a few Zerglings get hit by that. The Oracle turns on its laser, guns down a lot of these Zerglings as well. And one has to wonder, has Hero found a way to do the impossible? Will he be able to break through a Dark that is mining so many more resources, 1,000 more minerals a minute? The Stalkers are there. The Zergling's going to be breaking out of that stasis trap. One other stasis trap gets set off. That means the Oracles are gone, guys. It's 33 Blink Stalkers. 1-1 upgrades in a dream. And Hero dodging the Biles, blinking back so nicely. Can he keep his gateway up? He's going to have to. Traps the Zerglings coming out of the stasis trap. I think counterattacks with the Lings would be amazing here. If he can hit the natural wall of Hero, it's going to force warp-ins. But oh my god! Hero, the Mad Dog, just blinks on the Queen Ravager. Drones forced off the line. Hero, an utter psychopath. An absolute mad lad. He dives on top and he is getting some pretty good damage, but he's losing so many Stalkers in the process. I don't know if that was worth it. What a wild, wild move. He felt like I need to do it now. I see that the units are low. I think he thought that a lot of the Lings had gone across the map for a counterattack, which it did look like Dark was thinking about, but he hadn't quite moved out with them yet, which meant they were able to very quickly come back, jump on top of these Stalkers, and Hero, even with that +1 armor, which is so good versus the Zerglings, really helps minimize their damage. You can see his last few Stalkers getting run down, and Dark barely manages to win a game with his sneaky Chandra Annihilator build. It's a very good build order. The Queen Ling Nidus. That's given me a lot of wins back in the day, 5 years ago when he invented it. Dark has never stopped doing this build, and I don't think he will as long as the Stargate opening's the meta. Doesn't matter if you open Void Ray or Oracle. As long as you open 2 or 3 air units, he knows there's an opportunity for Queens, Zerglings, and Nidus Worm. As long as you don't know it's coming, as long as you're surprised, he can take you out. Cannons are the hard counter to this build, if you guys are wondering. The answer is if Hero puts a cannon and a battery on his natural, a cannon and a battery on his third, and they're ready when that first hits, you're kind of just screwed as Dark, because cannons have amazing damage output. Two-shotting Zerglings, whereas Stalkers struggle to take them down. Very nice game there for Dark. Ties up the series. All right, guys. Hero in the bottom left side of the map. Dude, he always gets caught off by that build. I wonder, yeah, it's hard to tell when it's coming, man. He did see the lair. If he saw the lair finished, I think even 10, 20 seconds earlier, it really should have set off his alarm. And I think he would have been fine, but he just happened to see the third and the main a lot more than the natural where the lair was early on. And I think that's the big tell that would have told him. Because basically, if the lair starts anytime before... I mean, the thing is, actually, you know, it's even harder to tell now that that build's coming because Dark will rush lair for quick Hydras a lot of the time. Probe goes to check the third. Drone comes down to take the natural. Now, Dark always responds the same way, guys. Every single time. Every single time. He's going to try and block the base, but the probe gets down. As long as you pull the second one, I don't think the hatchery gets down in time. And Dark, he went in too early, but the probe was already there anyway. And this block just doesn't go down anymore. The Protoss players are too aware of it. They're too savvy. And there's no way he can build a hatchery. Like, can he delay the Nexus slightly? Yeah, sure. You can see the way Hero's cutting off the inside of that rotation. You think of it, if they circle around, you always want to pull to the inside. Because if they steer too far around the outside, then you can just put the Nexus down. Oh, he's going to block the gas, though. This is cute. Oh, this is cute. All right, all right. Very nice. Dark's going to be a nuisance here, man. Just running around, being a nuisance, picking away at things. Or they're zapping the drones as well. Alright, drone's going to pull back. So we were struggling to find the subscribe button in the Twitch Android app, guys. Chat saying you're just old, admit it, embrace it. I am old, guys. Doesn't change the fact that the app's poorly designed. I haven't seen anyone else go, nah, it's really easy to find in the Android app, the subscribe button. Like, here it is. It's literally just like, you look at the page, it's just not there. Like, they've hidden it. You know, you're on your computer, it's just right there. It's right in your face. They hide the subscription button on mobile. It's not well designed. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure it exists. And I know I'm a bit of a boomer. 36 years old isn't even a boomer. To be fair, boomers are old, but they're not like old, right? Like, realistically, if you're 36 in gamer years, this is like maybe like 17th century. You're like at least 300 years old, basically. For those who don't know, gamer years, once you turn like 22, you're already hitting middle-aged. 25 is, you know, you better be retired. If you're not retired, people are like worried, like you probably should have your license taken off you, shouldn't be driving a car, operating heavy machinery. By the time you're 30, you are a fossil. You know, you're 120, 130, something like that. And by the time you're in your mid-30s, getting close to 40 as a gamer, you're essentially a vampire. You're several hundred years old. You dress kind of funny. You speak weird. You wear frilly things around your neck. People are like, why is that guy always so weird? You're always, you know, trying to pick up really drunk people in the club and trying to get them to invite you into their home. You're like, why is he so weird about you? Like, yeah, just come bang, let's go. He's like, no, I need you to invite me into your home. You know, it's a whole thing. Queen Zergling hanging out. Gonna try and deflect this. Oracle comes in. Oh, split fires. He gets 2. Okay, not bad. Spore Trick didn't quite go down. Doesn't take too much damage on the Oracle. That's a good start here for Hero. Dark does need to start an Overlord momentarily while the Adepts and Oracles keep him busy. He might get distracted. We might see some indirect damage from the pressure. Zergling starts. Big distractions. I feel like this is really good for Hero right now. He's only got 1 queen. Dark, what are we doing? Dark, he's left his natural wide open. What the hell, dude? You're wide open. He's still not building an Overlord, but that's okay because he's about to lose 7 drones, man. He just left his natural wide open. Oh, no. Dark. This is a huge mistake. You can't be getting Lewin out of position like this. 6 drones go down. Lots of mining time as well. And that's not a good start for him. That Adept is not in the wall off, by the way. Lings can run into that base if they want to. Even when Hero puts a unit on door duty, he leaves a hole. Lair starts up again for Dark. This time I think it is the fast Hydras. So like I said, it's hard to distinguish fast Hydras from Nidus Queen Zergling all in. Thank you very much, Limstyle. Appreciate the sub. If you guys are watching on YouTube, don't forget to go to twitch.tv/x5_pig. If you have Amazon Prime, you can Prime sub for free once a month on Twitch. You have to do it manually. It won't auto sub, but I get $5 for each one of those. So, well, I get my share of $5 or whatever it is. I get some money. Same as a normal sub. Oracle's going to dive in. Thank you very much for people who do that. Same way Hero says, thank you very much for the Prime subs. He says he kills 5 more drones. Dark's opening horrendous. It's a terrible start for Dark. I don't see him salvaging this early game, guys. And this is why I get very critical of Dark recently when he plays Hero, because against Hero in max packs, his early game's not good enough. It's something we got to, you know, I got to call a spade a spade. I got to call a player whose early game hasn't really been evolving for a while what it is. I think it's partially because he's been on the edge of going to military. He has too many early games like this where he just moves 2 Adepts are there, just moves all of his queens to his 3rd base, leaves his natural unguarded. It's just, these are basic things. This is what the whole early game is about, and too often he's finding himself in a bad spot. He's going to go Spire, but he's doing it from far behind in this match. And those Oracles just blasting, man. Absolutely blasting these Zerglings. This is such a good start now for Hero. And honestly, going Blink, if he pushes with Blink at all, I don't know what you're going to do to keep up with that. 5th gateway goes down. Hero, it's a little bit of a supply block here, but he's got more pylons coming as that happens. Spire from behind always feels very bad. I feel like Mass Zergling from behind can sometimes do it. If you happen to play against like Stalker Storm or something like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. You definitely don't want to play Roach Hydra from behind. I mean, maybe Roach Hydra from behind if your opponent gets a bit too aggressive. I've seen Shin pull that off a bunch. Lings go for a little counter. It's not many Zerglings, though. Blink not quite ready, though. So they get 1 Stalker, which is great. Mutas. Spire's almost finished, but with an army on the front, you have to make Mass Zergling. You can't be making Mutalisks versus this. They are not good frontal fighting units. They're more of a counter-attack unit, a flyby unit. A unit that goes to the heart of the opponent's economy. Oracle's all deep in the red, but they are still all alive. Stasis traps continue to go down. The Adepts really helping out against these Zerglings, forcing Dark to go into this piecemeal. 11 Mutas on the way, as well as more Zerglings. The Queen's doing a great job of trying to hold the line. Oracle's so low, but refusing to die. Hero keeps F2ing them forward, but he's very disciplined about pulling the Oracles back after those F2s. All the Queens go down, and that's just going to be all she wrote for Dark. Even with the Mutas out, I think the Stalkers can kill the 4th. And probably continue pushing into these Mutas. Phoenix starting up behind it. 3 base push here for Hero, looking fantastic. He's going to pull away, which I think is a good call. You don't want to get surrounded by Zerglings. Just rotate. Armor upgrade is genius, guys. I've talked a lot about this. Armor is much better versus Mutaling than attack upgrades. Because you're going to be overkilling a lot, usually against these small units anyway. And all the small damages of the Muta Bouncers and the Zerglings get huge reductions from the armor. Armor not as effective versus bigger damage units like Lurkers, Ultras, even Roaches and Hydras to some extent, but against a 5 damage unit, a Mutalisk that does 9 damage, 3 damage, and 1 damage, all suffering from damage reduction on the armor. Great choice by Hero to mix that up. Here we go. Wait, if you're on Stalkers, shouldn't you get shields? Shields more expensive. Doesn't necessarily help. Armor's better, generally. Because, I mean, shields is not bad if you plan to make a lot of Archons. And it will help the Phoenix as well. So there's an argument behind shields. Especially since they made shields upgrades a little bit cheaper, actually, in recent patches. I think you could argue. It's okay. Stalkers are 80 hit points, 80 shields. But, yeah. Armor's a little bit cheaper. Shields helps buildings as well. And sometimes you base trade against this style. So shields actually helps cannons as well. You know what? I'd be fine with shields. The old days, shields used to cost a bit more than it does right now. It still costs a bit more than +1 armor, but I think shields is fine. Both are absolutely okay. Of course, if you end up with Zealots against their Zergling Warpins, armor's way more useful for that. But if you end up on a bunch of Archons, shield's way better for that. And of course, ground armor does not help Phoenix, whereas shields helps them as well. So shields is definitely a very nice upgrade. Phoenix dancing back and forth. Dark massing Muta into 2-star Phoenix. I think he thought Hero was going to stay on ground play, and now he finds himself in a dead end, guys. Finds himself in a cul-de-sac, which, in this case, is a dark place. Going to try and intercept the Phoenix. Ooh, gets one. Gets 2. Bad control for Hero there going in before the Phoenix range kicks in. The Muta's just going to dance backwards there. Feels like Dark just kind of getting trounced in the early game of this one. Not really having too much play on him. It's a shame he's using up Muta Corrupt here. Muta Corrupt is a good play. You need 10 gases, though. You can't be playing it from behind. It's all about having a good start. Usually you want to try and get away with being a little bit greedy into Muta Corruptor. It's a great style. If your opponent can make Stalker, Archon, Zealot to have a bigger ground army than you and make enough Phoenix to completely crush your Muta Corruptor, I mean, this is just, it's just a super one-sided situation. Lings intercept a few Zealots going across, but looks like this is going to go pretty damn well for Hero. I think he can just push in and finish this game. Muta's coming forward, Stalker's there as well. Phoenix dancing back and forth. The Stalker's blinking backwards. The Corruptors dive, but the Stalker Archon are going to obliterate. And notice the Phoenix has shift-clicked on the Mutas. So he's not attacking the 2 armored Corruptors. He was trying to target the Mutalist as much as he could. Now he realizes, okay, I've got to just pull back from this. Let the Stalkers fight against the Mutas. The Phoenix should just run away. They're staying a bit too long. The Phoenix are all dying, but I don't think Hero cares. His Stalkers are absolutely wrecking. Dark has to tap out. An uninspiring game there for Dark. His early game just needs to get cleaned up. All right, guys. Looks like... Oh, are we seeing a block again? Hey, Dark gets his hatchery down on 16. Hero just sent that probe too late. That was just Hero being greedy. Hero doesn't block it. Uh-oh, gets caught out there. And Dark with some nice counter micro so far, minimizing the probe damage. It's going to be interesting to see the difference on Frostline. I like this map. I think it's quite well balanced. I do think, you know, you can end up with the classic situation as this worker harass continues to be ever so annoying. Hero kind of winning that worker duel as he often does. When you're defending, say, your base over here, like the Stalkers can start to siege you up and down there. But I think there's always good flanking angles. There's always good counterattack angles. It seems like a very well-balanced map. And what I like about it is that it is quite spread on your 4th base. And once you take a 5th base, it's super spread. So it's really hard to defend those higher base counts. You could argue that favors Protoss a bit more than Zerg, especially if it gets to like Zerg turtling on Lurkers for a little bit, withstanding, say, a big Stalker Zealot army, trying to get enough Lurkers up before they push. Kind of stuck on 4 base rather than 5 base, but that's something Dark's used to if he does play to that stage. I imagine we're going to try and see Fast Lair and Hydras, but so far the early games have not gone well for Dark, and oh my lord, he actually gets the kill. Bizarre that he pulled that many. That seemed like a mistake that he just, like, there's no reason to pull more than just the drones on that side. So I think it was a mistake that he turned to his favor and said, well, I've accidentally pulled them, might as well. Fair enough, fair enough. Couple links coming out. We do have a Chrono Boosted Adept. Will Hero Chrono a second Adept? We almost never see that these days, but I think it's still powerful. We'll check in on that in a moment. Stargate's on the way in the main base. And second Adept immediately starts, but no Chrono. Oh, no, he does. He chronos the Nexus and then does Chrono. Okay, so it is going to be a double Adept pressure this time. Look at this, though. The two Lings dodge the Adept. It scouts north, shades through the middle. Those Lings could run right in, but I think he's going to wait for the second Adept to come out and then go for it. Interestingly, it is a defensive second Adept. He's not going forward with it. Oh, he finds a creep tumor. That's so frustrating as Dark. It's one of the reasons why you can go creep tumor before inject is something a few people think is way better in this matchup. I think it's a very good way to play because it allows your creep to get a bit further out and started, which means it's not as simple to find where that creep tumor will be placed. Adept will shade into the main. But the scout is on, and he sees the Oracle. Dark happy with that. 4 Lings here. One of them does go down. Hero's Focus Fire has been fantastic, cleaning up 3 Zerglings, but did lose his scouting probe to the drones earlier. Whoa, what was that? He just cancelled a gateway, and then he rebuilds it. Oh, because he full wall. What is this wall off? My lord. I think... Yeah, this is... Oh, just terrible pylon placement. Why would he put his pylon in the middle of the wall to begin with? That's just a bizarre wall off, isn't it? I mean, normally he just builds the pylon on the edge and it seems to work, but Heroes wall offs are a thing of infamy. It's like that Zergling Cocoon will go down, get a refund, but you lose the production capability. Oracle leaves its laser on. It's going to try and take out the other one. Does a lot of damage. Remember, those eggs are light units, I believe, so they do take the bonus. And that drone gets cancelled as well. 4 Adepts coming forward through the middle. There's only 3 Zerglings on the map, Dark! It's 4 minutes 20. He's only got 3 Zerglings. Oh, the greed. The absolute greed. The Oracle flies directly over the Queens, which I can't say is the best move, but we'll see what he makes of it. Depth shade into the main. A few more Lings have now popped out. 5 Zerglings, drones, and a Queen trying to defend. But man, Dark, he rushed a 4th hatchery in this game. It's already started down the bottom. But he's taking monumental damage. Down to 32 workers against 43. I mean, the fast 4th base is absolute banana style. Crazy, man. Oracle comes in, gets yet another... No, nice spore trick there. Well done. Hero will get it out of there as the green Oracle does pull back. Trying to get home to help defend. But wait, he's already got 3 Oracles on the map. He's building a 4th one right now. Famous Hero Oracle. 3rd Nexus very late in this game. Of course, Hero with the wall-off screw-ups and whatnot. A little bit more delayed on that than he normally would be. Dark doesn't even get a single Adept here. Gonna try to run in, but looks like he's just splitting 2 for the scout. Doesn't really want anything more than that. Forge and Twilight have started. Lair comes up pretty quickly behind this. Dark, can he recover? Can he re-drone? It really feels like your early game is so important against Hero. And Dark is just too consistently taking massive damage in the early game, and he has been for over a year. Head-to-head against Hero, his early game is just not clean enough. And that's what it is. And you know what's funny is I really feel like just that the current balance, it kind of favors Hero because Protoss gets to be a bit more dynamic. And Zerg, if you want to be a top-tier ZvP player, you have to just play a bit more solid in the opening. And from 5 minutes onwards, you get to start to do a lot of cool things. But the energy recharge, a lot of the old Link shenanigans to delay the 3rd bases, things that allow you to get momentum, make the Protoss player react to you, aren't very good anymore. Hero's going to commit to that? No, it does pull back. Good choice. Committing to that would have been crazy. So I think for Dark, right now he's struggling in the matchup because he's forced to play reactive for 5-6 minutes, and he just doesn't seem to have the attention span for it. And I know that seems like a silly way to say about a pro gamer, but I mean, you've got to look at a guy like Cyril and how detail-oriented his openings are, how patient, how refined they are, the details in them. And I really feel like every Zerg player needs to be studying Cyril's openings in this matchup and copying exactly what he does in that first 4 to 5 minutes. If you're not copying Cyril's builds in this matchup, you are simply leaving money on the table. There is so much more you could be doing to get through this early stage without falling behind against Protoss, but most players, there's a reason why MaxPax keeps killing not just Dark, but pretty much all the non-Cyril Zerg players with 8-gate blink, and sometimes even the 6-gate blink pressure that he's not even committing to, he just wins with. It's because his early game's so consistent, so tight, so good. He's amazing at harassing 2 places at once if you make a few slip-ups, pulling your queens out of position. And a lot of the players just haven't quite got to that Cyril level in the early game. just yet. Even then, Serral versus Maxpax, we saw that really cool opening from Serral in Pigfest, from Maxpax, sorry, where he went double gas into Oracle before Nexus. Was a very cool build order. And that just steamrolled Serral. 68 workers for Dark, 66 for Hero. Problem is he's building Hydraling against Colossus, and that is not good. Colossus are going to be amazing against this army. The while till they hit the field, Extended Thermalance just starting first, Colossus is halfway done, but if Dark doesn't have an infestation and like the early Viper or something like that, it could get really bad. Either Lurkers or Vipers going to be necessary against what will probably turn into a 3-base Stalker Colossus timing for Hero. Of course, Hero will probably take a 4th as it's happening, but you can tell just how much he's committing to tech, gateways, units, how active he is on the map. He's not prioritizing an early 4th base. 7 Overlords building right now. Dark does not want to get supply blocked at all in the rest of this game. And the Stalker Adept coming forward as well. Stasis Trap only getting 2 Zerglings. Good pullbacks here for Hero. Let's check that unit's lost time. 600 in his favor. Hydra's up top. I think they were looking to intercept a Prism, potentially going past. No Overlords on the edges is surprising. There was no Void Ray this game. And yet Dark doesn't really have Overlords watching the edges of the map, which to me, just one of those little holes in his play. These Prisms could sneak into his main without him seeing them. Zealot's going to look for the snipe on this base. These Zealots do have +1. Going to do pretty well versus Zerglings. Charge not quite ready. And he should be picking these up and getting them out of there. Just loses 1 Zealot. Gets the hatchery deep in the orange. Good trade. Infestation Pit finally coming down, but only after the Lurker Den. So this is Lair Tech Lurkers, guys. We're going to see Dark on 5 base trying to play Mass Hydra Ling Lurker. Problem is there are 2 Colossus on the field, and Immortal as well. And Hero's not going to give him time. Hero's going to start pushing. Front Stasis Trap gets sniped. Have to see these Zerglings spread out and start to take these Stasis Traps down, but it's really hard to see where they are. Ooh, Hydraling. One of them goes down. A lot of the units are in the top left, but that means we're pulling out of position, so the Zealots can move. Oh, beautiful play. He was hunting for the Prism, didn't find it, and the moment he pulls to the bottom right, the Zealots come back in. Big Colossus Zealot Archon Stalker army. Stasis Traps covering the potential retreat path as well. Well, actually, the Stasis Traps are mostly gone now. They're pretty far away, but the Colossus Stalker Archon with the Zealots fighting so well. The Zealots killed the top base. They're going to run in on the 3rd as well. The Colossus started stepping away. The Hydras and the Queens not able to get on top. Already a few drones went down. The Zealot Warpins on the north going ham right now. Zealots against Hydras in a big fight. And he continues to push forwards. The Mad Lad Hero pushing forwards. He even turned his Oracle lasers on. And he blitzes over Dark's forces. Hero's opening is too dynamic. It's too good. Dark just could not keep up. And Hero outclassed him in the early game and wasn't really challenged in the mid game because of it. GG, well played. Hero dominates 3-1.